Namaste. Welcome back to our Ramayana study series. We are reviewing Balakanda, the first sarga of the Balakanda. So, as you know, there are 7 kandas, major sections in Ramayana, and Balakanda is the first section. And there are multiple sargas in Balakanda. I believe 22 sargas are there in Balakanda itself. And we started with sarga 1. So let's ground where we are and try to continue further. So the whole idea was Maharshi Vatmiki approaches Maharshi Narada and asks an important question. Is there a human being in this world, not somebody lives in the past, in the current time, who possesses all the noble virtues taught by the scriptures? In fact, he enumerates 16 noble virtues. Narada, after listening to this question, because Narada knew Vatmiki had some doubt on Rama, because Vatmiki was a contemporary of Rama. In fact, Vatmiki got his sainthood or sannyasa by chanting the name of Rama, but still he had a doubt. That is why he enumerated all the 16 qualities. So Narada Maharshi, listening to Vatmiki's question, he said, yes, I know a person, and that person possesses all the 16 qualities. And then he is going to talk about his life. And he is Rama, Ikshvaku Vamsha Prabhavaha, Ramo Nama Janaishrutaha. So that is how Rama was introduced. And then actually Narada Maharshi gives a short description of the life of Rama in approximately 80 shlokas. That is what, and this is the first narration of the Ramayana. And what Vatmiki Maharshi does is, he takes this 80 shlokas and he elaborates that into the entire Ramayana. This is how the evolution of Ramayana happens. So we are in that process, understanding that Moola Ramayana, which was described in the 80 shlokas. So let's try to see. In 2 classes, we covered a lot of topic. In lesson 4, like not the previous, before that, the Narada's narration started with the crisis of Rama's, Dasharatha wanted to make him as the king. Then that whole incident happened with Kaikeyi. And then when Rama was about to leave, meaning go to the forest, Sita and Lakshmana accompanied him, showing the best of the love of a wife and a brother. And then Sita also preferred to go with Rama. And then they approached Guha, and Guha was a great friend of Rama. And Guha's friendship with Rama is highlighted. Rama calls him as brother. And then, as guided by the sage Bharadwaja, they go to Chitrakuda, that is a beautiful place, and they enjoyed a beautiful life there, even the life of a Deva and a Gandharva, because even though they didn't have any material comfort, they were very happy and contented. So that was the topic. In the last class, at that particular point of time, when Rama, Sita and Lakshmana was in Chitrakuta, Dasharatha passed away. And how Dasharatha passed away? Because of the pain for that separation of his son, he passed away. And at that point of time, what happened? Everybody wanted Bharata to become the king, because that was the boon given by Dasharatha to Kaikeyi. But Bharata refused, because he thought that is not his dharma. And he declares Rama as the king. And Bharata actually went to see Rama in Chitrakuta. And Rama refused, even though. So that is why there you can see how the Mukhya Dharma and Gauna Dharma plays. Rama refused the kingdom. And Bharata also refused to be the king. And finally, what they agreed was, Bharata is going to rule the kingdom, not as a king, but as a representative of Rama. So with that sankalpa, he took Rama's padaka and he went to a village called Nandigram, not the Ayodhya palace. So he also lived the life of a ascetic life, living in a hut, and from there he ruled the kingdom by worshipping Rama's, seeing Rama's padakas as Rama. And at that point of time, Rama thought that it is not good for me to stay in Chitrakuta because a lot of people will come from Ayodhya and that is going to disturb the ecological harmony. So he wanted to protect that forest ecology. And also he didn't want a lot of people come and see him from the Ayodhya. So he retreated to a place called Dandakaranya. And as soon as he entered into the Dandakaranya, he had to encounter a big battle with a demon called Viradha. So after annihilating Viradha, he had interaction with multiple sages. So we talked about different sages. And finally, they reaches Agastya's ashrama. So then Agastya gave him a lot of weapons and a bow, a sword, and a lot of like arrows. All those things was given, and then meaning as directed by Agastya, they started living in Dandakaranya. And when Rama, Lakshmana and Sita was living in Dandakaranya, they picked up a place called Panchavadi. Panchavadi was the place they stayed. At that point of time, a lot of sages came and saw them. And sages and also, in fact, the tribal people came and requested Rama. They wanted protection from Rakshasas because these Rakshasas were attacking the forest, and actually they were destroying the ecology of the forest. So they wanted Rama to protect them, and Rama promised that he will protect them. So when they were living in Panchavati, Śūrpaṇakhā approached Rama and Lakshmana. And then what happened? Śūrpaṇakhā tried to attack Sita and kill her. And because of that, Lakshmana has to do the Angacheda as a defense. And Śūrpaṇakhā went back to his the other Rakshasas, Ghara, Dushana, and Trishiras. Ghara, Dushana, and Trishiras, along with 14,000 Rakshasas, came, and Rama single-handedly fought with all these people and destroyed that entire Rakshasas. This is the topics we covered in the previous 2 sessions. So if you remember this, you see the major milestones in the life of Rama. So that itself is very, very much interesting. So let's continue. But before that, let's pray listen to the Dhyana Shloka of Rama.
Dhyayeda janubahum dhritasharadhanusham baddha padmasanastham pītam vasovasanam navakamaladalasparddhinetram prasannam vamangarudha sītāmukhakamalaमिलल्लोचनम् नीरदाभम् नानालङ्कारदीप्तम् दधतमुरुजटामण्डनम् रामचन्द्रम्.
So we'll continue the journey of Rama's life story. So, Khara, Doshana, and Trishiras, along with the 14,000 Rakshasas, were destroyed by Rama. In fact, this was completely perplexing and unbelievable to Śūrpaṇakhā. How can an ordinary human being destroy all these Rakshasas single-handedly? That created a big, fear, shame, all these emotions in Śūrpaṇakhā, and she went to Rāvaṇa, the king of Lanka, the mighty Rāvaṇa, who was ruling all over the world, most powerful king. So Śūrpaṇakhā was a sister of Ravana, and she went to Ravana and described the whole incident. So Ravana, hearing this, he got, meaning that this is what I was talking the other day, right? I talked about a literary work called Śūrpaṇakhā Vilāpam. This is exactly the subject matter of that. Composed by Melpattur Narayana Bhattavidi. And this Mahakavyam has no Anunasika Shabdam, nothing like, there is nothing coming from the nose, no nasal tones were completely eliminated. Look at the literary genius of that people. Amazing. So, now what happened? Ravana heard this story. He got like into a rage. He said, how can this happen? I have to take revenge. And he knew that he cannot directly approach Rama. So he approached another Rakshasa called Mārīcha. Mārīcha, in fact, was a wise person because he had a fight with Rama earlier. He retreated and he was living a peaceful life. So Mārīcha said, Ravana, you are not going to be a fit for Rama. More than that, this is the time Mārīcha tells, Rāmo vigrahavān dharma. Rama is the embodiment of dharma. So if Rama killed Khara, Dushana and Trishiras, there will be a reason. Śūrpaṇakhā is telling a one-sided story. When Śūrpaṇakhā went and told Ravana, he didn't tell what, meaning they did the Angacheda because of she was trying to kill Sita, nothing. So Mārīcha said, Ramo vigrahavān dharma. Rama is my enemy, but I have to tell you that he is an embodiment of dharma. He won't do injustice. So it's not good for you or not good for your community, not good for your country to pick up a fight with Rama. So at that time, Ravana was blindfolded by anger, and the word Valmiki used is kala choditaha, right? Kala choditaha, like compelled by the time. Sometimes when that time comes in, no advice will go into the ears. Another meaning is kala means yamadharma. Inspired by yamadharma, Ravana said, no, nothing doing, you have to do it. So half-heartedly, Mārīcha, what happened? He went to Rama to disguise in the form of a deer. The goal was to move Rama Lakshmana away from Sita so that Ravana can kidnap Sita. This was the strategy. Let's continue. So at that time, what happened was Ravana's Kala Choditaha, as I said, that is the word Valmiki used. Very beautiful word. It can be interpreted as like because of the time, or inspired by the death itself, because Ravana's time was about to come, so nothing will go to his ears. So he disregards Mārīcha's warning. Then what happened? He forces Mārīcha to move ahead. So Mārīcha reluctantly accepted it, and Ravana is a representative of the ego and karma, lust, karma and ego, right? And as a result, what happened? When these two combines, it is very hard to resist. We will see a lot of this later in the Adhyatma Ramayana when we unfold later. And Sita has to go that test of dharma. So Mārīcha pretended to be a deer and approached Sita. You all know the story. So Sita said, I want that deer. So Rama went to catch that deer. And after some time, there is absolutely no news. And then they heard a news. Oh, dear Lakshmana and Sita, please come and rescue me, in the sound of Rama. So at that time, what happened? Sita forces Lakshmana to go and check on Rama. But what happened? Lakshmana said, no, this is not my brother's cry. Nobody can touch my brother. Here is what a small mistake Sita is doing, and she has to pay a lot of price for that. I'm not going to fast forward right now. So Sita uttered some sentences to Lakshmana, which was not good. So Lakshmana had to put his, cover his ears, and with the deep pain, he went ahead and searched for Rama. Sita said, "Oh, you are like a not so good person. Your intent is to get Rama killed so that you get me." That is what she said. And that was really bad on the part of Sita. And she had to pay a big price. And you will see this at the end of the Ramayana. There is a small incident. Rama had to say some harsh words to Sita because of this. So please keep this in mind, this act of Sita. That is why we need to be very careful what we speak. Like, it's 10 times more painful than the physical hurt. So this is one area in the Aranyakanda we will see later. At this point of time, Narada is not talking any of these things, but I just wanted to flag this so that you remember another, meaning we need to connect this with another incident later in the Ramayana. This is why. So now what happened? So at that point of time, what is going to happen is Rāvaṇa kidnaps Sita. And while Rāvaṇa was taking Sita, there comes a vulture or a eagle, not eagle, like a, khadga, a bird, Jatayu. Jatayu comes and fights with Rāvaṇa. This was a big, fierce battle in the air. So at that point of time, and Rāvaṇa was a little bit struggling to fight with this brave bird. And there was nothing Rāvaṇa can do. So at that time, he took his most powerful weapon known as Chandrahasa. Chandrahasa is a sword given to Rāvaṇa by Lord Shiva. And with that Chandrahasa, he cut the wing of Jatayu and also hit Jatayu, and Jatayu fell down. He was mortally wounded, but didn't pass away because Jatayu has a mission to see Rama and tell this story. This is Jatayu's story. By the way, who is Jatayu? Jatayu is the son of Aruna. Remember last week we talked about the story of Kadru, Vinita, Aruna, Garuda. So Aruna, who is the charioteer of Surya Devata, his son, there are two sons. One is called Jatayu, the other one is called Sampadi. There is another story, all the details, we'll talk about that later, but understand that Jatayu is, and so this Jatayu was fallen down. So imagine, actually, there is no historic proof where exactly the Jatayu fall down. There is a place in Andhra Pradesh they regard as the place Jatayu fall down. There is a place in Tamil Nadu where they think that Rama performed the last rites of Jatayu. And there is a place in Kerala. They think that Jatayu fall down. So we don't know, like somewhere in South India, he fall down. But those who hasn't actually seen this place where Jatayu fall, meaning that place in Kerala, it is known as Chatayamangalam or Jatayu Mangalam. And there is a rock. On the top of that rock, they built a huge statue of Jatayu. Huge statue. It's amazing artwork. So you can just Google it, the Jatayu rock. You will see that statue of Jatayu. Amazing. And I had a chance to visit that place last August, and I was so fascinated. And what attracted me in that statue, in front of the statue, they put a caption there. The first person who sacrificed his life to protect the honor of a woman. Right? For the honor of a woman, he sacrificed his life, protecting the honor of a woman. So this is what Jatayu. And what happened was when Rama and Lakshmana came back, they didn't see Sita. So they were so sad and they were checking everywhere. At that time, they saw the wounded Jatayu, dying Jatayu. Nihatam drishtva, the one who was about to die. At that time, Jatayu described what happened to Sita. So Rama was described as Akulendriya. He seems to be completely down. Rama. He was broken down completely. And remember, Rama is described like a human being here. So he will cry, he will be sad, all those things will come. So then what happened? Rama and Lakshmana performed the last rite of Jatayu. Like by doing the Vedic fire ritual, he cremated Jatayu. And Valmiki says, Tapa Agni, like that is the word he used. Inside Rama, there was a lot of pain, the fire of sadness. Outside, he has to put a fire and burn Jatayu. This is the poetic expression. Mind you, Ramayana is a Mahakavya. So you see similes like this, beautiful similes. So in other words, you can say that Rama didn't have to burn a fire. His mind itself had a lot of fire. With that fire, he performed the last rites of Jatayu and moved away. Remember, from Panchavadi, they are going further down. So that is Jatayu's story. And when they started going further, they encountered a fearful form of a Rakshasa. This Rakshasa is known as Kabandha. Kabandha. Earlier it was Viratha. Now it's Kabandha. Kabandha means the one whose head is not on his shoulders. That is the literal meaning. You can see his head is in the stomach. And he has a fearful form. So he has long hands. So he can just catch anything that comes in front of him. And he used to eat that. And whoever see him, they just die out of fear. That type of Rakshasa was Kabandha. His long hands stretching for miles. So this Kabandha means, as I said, it is a headless. Head is not on the shoulder. Headless body. It means life without a purpose. That is what symbolic Adhyatma Ramayana calls. Kabandha represents the life without a purpose. So he was again a celestial being cursed by Indra, and he was living a life of Rakshasa and freed by Rama. And what happened? Rama and Lakshmana was caught by Kabandha by his long hand, and Rama and Lakshmana took the sword and cut his hand, and eventually they gave him liberation. And his subtle body ascended to heaven. While departing, Kabandha said, you need to go further south and meet two people. First, you meet a person called Sabari, and then you meet the king of monkeys known as Sugriva. This was Kabandha's direction. So before he passes away, he said, you go and meet. First, he said, you go and meet Sabari. So then Rama, who was the most powerful warrior, he was searching for Sabari's ashram and easily found Sabari's ashram. And then what happened? He very happily accepted the offering or the food given by Sabari. So Sabari's devotion was completely, Rama was completely moved by the devotion of Sabari. So let's talk a little bit about Sabari. Sabari came from a tribe called Shabara, like the forest-dwelling community. If you take the modern world, they don't fit in any of the thing, right? So it's the most tribal person by birth, right? That doesn't mean anything. That is what we are going. And then she was represented by Valmiki as Dharma nipuna, expert in dharma. Expert in dharma, one can give discourse on Upanishad. That type of person. This points out something very, very significant. A lot of people say women are not eligible to study Veda. The women are not eligible to teach Veda. But that is completely wrong. In the Vedic tradition, women were extremely honored because they pick up one or two sentences here and there and they think that out of context they try to interpret and then say that women were suppressed. Absolutely not. The way Vatmiki was represented, Sabari is Sabarim Dharma Nipuna. Dharma Nipuna. The one who has like the whole understanding of dharma. Rama respected her. So she was living like a female ascetic, like a rishi. And her guru was Rishi Matanga. Under Rishi Matanga's guidance, Sabari was living in a Parnashala and living a simple life, and she was a Dharma Nirupa. So here the idea is the spiritual wisdom. It transcends the gender, it transcends the caste, it transcends the social status, right? And jnanam, knowledge, surpasses everything else. Everything else. And also you need to understand, like in the modern world, people won't even do that. So Sabari was so much devoted to Rama. So when Rama came to her hut, she was so happy and she wanted to treat Rama very well. So she wanted to give her fruits, berries. So what she did, she don't know which one is good, which one is not bad. She tried to bite each berry and whatever tastes good, she put Rama's mouth. Lakshmana was not ready to take it. But Rama was so happy. Right? See how it transcends the gender, social status, and the caste. So I just wanted to highlight these points because some people say that this is caste-oriented scriptures. No. You saw the episode of Guha, you saw the episode of Sabari. So this is very important to keep in mind. Mahatma Sabari, that is how Rama called her. And she was Dharmacharya. So Sabari said, you should go. So Kabandha told Rama to meet Sabari. And Sabari said, you should go further south and you should try to meet the king of monkey, Sugriva, not Vali, right? They said, meet Sugriva. That was the instruction given by Sabari. So let's continue. So at that time, based on Sabari's instruction, they moved further down. On the sacred bank of river Pampa, they had the most beautiful encounter in the life of Rama. They met Hanumanji. You know the story, right? So Hanumanji and Sugriva was living in a place called Rishyamukha Achala. So a mountain called Rishyamukha, because Sugriva and his brother Vali had the fights, and Sugriva wanted to hide in some place, and Rishyamukha Achala was the place he can stay. The reason is Vali had a curse. If Vali enter into this Rishyamukha Achala, his head would have completely broken down. So this was a curse from Rishi Madanga. Why? Why that happened? There is a beautiful story. I'm fast forwarding all these things, but just to give you, once an asura called Dundubi came and challenged Vali. Vali was very mighty warrior. Nobody can defeat Vali. And Vali easily killed this Dundubi. And what happened? Just took his skull and just threw that away. Nobody can even touch it. that skull itself is like a mountain, and that fall into the ashramam of this Matanga Rishi. That is why this curse happened. So because of that, Sugriva and Hanumanji was living in this mountain called Rishyamukachala. So at that time, they saw Rama and Lakshmana, two warriors coming. Sugriva was afraid, probably Vali might have sent them. And the reason is like to kill me. So he asked, Sugriva asked Hanumanji to go and find out who they are. So Hanumanji disguised in another form, and he came to Rama and Lakshmana and started a conversation. In the first conversation itself, Hanumanji became very much fond of Rama and Lakshmana, connected very well. And Rama had a big connection with Hanumanji, started with his pure accent. Hanumanji was very good in his accent and communication skills. So that is why they developed a bond immediately, and Hanumanji took his own form and took them to Sugriva. So at the time of Sugriva, Rama narrated all his story. Sugriva was also in a very similar state. He lost his wife. His wife was forcefully captured by Vali, and Rama's wife was forcefully captured by, obviously, Narada. So Sugriva and Rama was in similar situation. So at that point of time, they both had a satyam, they had a vow that they both will help each other. Rama will help to regain the wife of Sugriva called Rama, and Sugriva will help Rama to get Sita back from Ravana. So this was the in front of fire, they had the pratigna. So Agni as a witness, they did the sacrifice. And Hanumanji's wisdom was highlighted even in that small encounter. So after that story, Sugriva, even though Sugriva was happy that he has Rama is on his side, he was always doubtful of Rama's skill, because Vali, it's not possible to anybody to fight with Vali directly or indirectly. So he constantly doubted the ability of Rama to defeat Vali or even attempt to fight with Vali. So at that time, he expressed that concern openly, and he said, can you do some test for a trust? Rama said, yeah, I'll do that. What test you want? The first test was, Sugriva showed that bones and head of this Dundupi, the Asura who was killed by Vali and thrown away by Vali. Nobody else can even lift that. So Sugriva's first test on Rama was, can you lift that up and throw away? Rama, with a smile, with his finger of the leg, right, he just took that and threw that away, and it just fall miles apart. So that was the first test. So that is the first test. And then second question was, there was Saptasala, like there were 7 first thing is that the bone of this Asura, Dundupi, has fallen 80 miles apart, like around 10 yojanas, something like that. That is the description given. We will see that all detail later. A lot of these things are beautifully described by Valmiki in the Kishkindha Kanda. And then what happened? There are 7 trees, Sala trees, Sapta Sala. So the question is, can you shoot one arrow piercing all the 7 trees? Rama easily said yes, and he shot one arrow which pierced through all the Saptasala, and not just the Saptasala. It went and hit and crossed the Rishyamukachala mountain, right? Rishyamukha mountain. And in that process, the whole earth was shivering. At that time, This is the might of Rama that was shown. Single arrow demonstrate that power of Rama. So, and in all this process, Rama was standing, smiling. So now Sugriva was convinced that this person can destroy Vali. So now going to the next episode. Now the fall of Vali. So with that courage, Sugriva went ahead and challenged Vali. Sugriva was described like the one with golden color with a little bit of redness. So that is the color Sugriva. He went ahead and challenged Vali for an encounter. So Vali came out, ignoring his wife's plea. Tara is the wife of Vali. So at that time, Rama with a single arrow shot Vali. So this is a lot of debate and discussion topic. Why Rama shot Vali indirectly. So we can talk about this, why that happened a little bit later in the Kishkindha Kanda. This is a big topic, but definitely there is an answer. So this ethical answer, Rama himself gives, but only one thing I can tell you. So Vali was a kind of person who never accepted anything from anybody. So when this incident happened, Vali asked Rama, you are a Maryada Purushottama and you shot me. Is that fair? Rama gives that detailed answer, 5 arguments. And at that time, Vali was convinced. And Vali wanted Rama to keep his head in his lap. That's what you see in the picture. And then he passed away. Rama blesses Vali and he passes away. So the ethical dilemma is very well addressed later in the Valmiki Ramayana. One request for those who try to find dharma in Rama's action, please understand that Valmiki presented Rama as a vigrahavān dharma. So we need to understand the dharma through the actions of Rama. So this particular portion is explained later. So Vali's death is caused because of certain reasons. And after that, Sugriva was made as the king of Kishkindha, and Tara was sad. So Vali, actually that humanizes Vali. Vali was very much demonic. All these incidents humanizes Vali, and Vali got liberation, and he passed away peacefully with Ram in front of Rama. And obviously that is why he gets his subtle body gets the appropriate next birth. So that is described. And then what is going to happen is, so this is what it is. And now Sugriva was coronated, and now he calls all the monkeys and asks them to search for Sita, which we will see next week. So all the monkeys will go in 4 different directions, and those who went to the southern direction was led by Hanumanji, Angada, and Hanumanji was part of that, and that incidents we will see. So today we saw around 8 major things, 8 major incidents in the life of Rama. First one was Śūrpaṇakhā's fury, when Khara, Doshana, Trishiras, everybody passed away. So she reports that incidents to Ravana, and Ravana was so angry and he rejected Mārīcha's warning. And then what happened? Mārīcha took the form of a golden deer and took Rama and Lakshmana away, and Ravana kidnapped Sita, and Jatayu came and tried to rescue Sita, and Jatayu gave his life for the protection of Sita, and Rama and Lakshmana cremated Jatayu, and after that they encountered Kabandha and liberated Kabandha, and then they met Sabari, and then Hanumanji they met, and also with Sugriva they had the contract or they had a treaty, and after that Vali was annihilated and Sugriva was coronated. So if you remember all these milestones, that is the major story of life story of Rama.